welcome to Sing for Your Supper. I'm Mara Norris, and today I'm going to show you a recipe that is packed with vitamin A. And we're going to make a creamy ginger carrot soup with a little bit of curry powder in it. And carrots are the leading vegetable source of vitamin A. It's only second behind liver, and I thought carrot soup would be a little bit more appealing than liver at 8 in the morning. So I'm just going to chop up my onions here and my carrots, just a big rough chop, because we're going to soften them in some oil, and then we're going to add chicken stock and simmer it until they're nice and soft, and then we're going to puree the whole mixture, so it doesn't need to be a fine dice. It's just a real rough chop, and I'm going to get started. Alright, we've got all the onions in the pot. And now I'm going to get started on chopping my carrots. I just want to cut off that little tip at the end. And I went ahead and just washed these with a vegetable brush, because a lot of times a lot of the nutrients in a vegetable are in the skin, and then we wind up peeling it and losing all of that great nutrient. So I just left it on. It actually gives it a nice earthy flavor, and we're not losing that also when we're peeling it and throwing it in the compost. Okay, that was the last of my carrots, and make sure and compost all of your vegetable matter. Got a little bowl here, just makes it easier. And I've already peeled and taken off the little nub off of the garlic, and I'm just again going to give that a real rough chop. Get that right into the pot, and I've got a little piece of ginger here that I've already peeled as well, and I'm just going to cut it into little medallions here and then give it a little bit of a chop. Alright, get that into the pot, and I'm going to get this on the stove and get these vegetables done. Now, as you can see, the vegetables are getting nice and soft, and it's bringing out all those natural sugars in the vegetables, and it just smells incredible. Now, the fat-soluble vitamins, like vitamin A, are actually not harmed in the cooking process, so it's okay that we're, cooking them and not eating them raw. It said the only thing that could harm the vitamins themselves would be cooking too long or at too high heat, and we're not going to do either, because we're just going to simmer these in the chicken broth, and we're going to simmer them until they're just tender, and then we're going to puree them up. Okay, I think the carrots and onions have been sweating long enough, and so I'm just going to pour the chicken broth in. Now, this is chicken broth that I made at home, chicken stock. Now, if you don't have this, you can use stuff out of a can or out of the box, but I really love the flavors of homemade chicken stock. I think it just adds so much more. Okay, just cover the vegetables and let it come up to a simmer, and then just make sure that the carrots are nice and fork tender when they're done. So my carrots and onions and garlic and ginger have been simmering in that nice chicken stock for about 45 minutes, and this is what I mean by the carrots being fork tender. When you stick your fork in, it just goes right through, no resistance. So I'm going to let that cool off for a little bit, because I'm going to get it in the blender, and if you put it in the blender when it's too hot, it's going to spray everywhere, and we don't want to have any burns. So let's just let it cool off for a little bit, and then we'll blend it up. Alright, so my vegetables for my soup are cooled off enough to where I can get them in the blender. I made a lot, so I'm going to have to do this in 2 batches, or else it's not going to fit in there. So make sure you get some of the broth in each of the batches. Okay, now, here's the thickening agent. Don't be freaked out, because it makes this soup so creamy and delicious. Not only that, but it adds a lot of protein. So this is a light, firm tofu, and you'd think you might want to use a silken tofu, but actually the firm tofu gives it a much richer, silkier texture. So just break that up into there. Don't worry if you've never tried tofu, it's okay, you're still going to like the soup. All right, get it into that blender. Make sure the lid is on nice and tight and just whiz it up. All right, our soup is nice and blended up. Very creamy, very silky. Now you want to get your curry powder in there and get the lid back on and whiz it up again. After that, make sure that you taste it and adjust the seasoning, see if it needs any more salt or pepper, and then add those in at the end. Okay, the curry powder is all blended up into the soup, so I'm just going to give it a little taste. Make sure we don't need anything else. The texture of that is just so silky and smooth and creamy, and it's got that nice earthy flavor from the curry powder. So I hope you enjoy your daily serving of vitamin A, and I hope you join me next time on Think for Your Supper.